Hi, in this video we will see about lists. Okay, so till now we have already seen lists many times, but I didn't explain about it. So this particular video is dedicated to lists. Don't write notes. Notes will be in the description, and watch my video at 2x speed. I will be very slow while explaining. Okay. So lists in Python. What is a list? List is a collection. Collection means group of items. Now it is ordered, which means it will follow the order in which you insert into the list. And they can be of any type. For example, a list can contain strings, integers, floats, nested lists, tuples, dictionaries, sets, and any combination of these. It can be string plus a list or a string plus list plus dictionary. It can be anything. And lists are mutable. What do I mean by mutable? The same list will be modified, right? So if you have a list, okay, now if you try to modify something in it, like adding, deleting, or modifying, it will happen in the same list. It will not create a separate list. It will happen in the same list. I will show you with example. Okay. So features of list are, they are indexed, which means every element is going to get an index, and they are ordered. The order in which you upload or the order in which you insert the elements in the list is maintained, and it is mutable. So mutable means you can change it. Okay, you don't create a new list, you change the original list. And duplicate elements are added. So this is very important. It is not a set, right? It is a list. So duplicate elements can also be there. Okay. So lists have definite position starting from 0. So when you have a list, their positions will start from 0. For example, if I have a list of 4 strings, the index of this is 0, index of this is 1, index of this is 2, index of this is 3. Now if you try to iterate over it using a for loop for each item in my list, and if you try to get the index of the item, each item one by one, then you are going to see element number 0, element number 1, element number 2, element number 3. Indices are 0, 1, 2, 3, which means 0, 1, 2, 3. That is it. Now the order in the list will always be same, the order in which you created. For example, if you have 4 elements in this order, and if you try to print that list L is 4 items in this order. If you try to print that list, it is going to print in the same order. Always you are going to get the same order. Order will not be jumbled, right? Later we will see collections whose order can be jumbled. Now lists are mutable, which means you can add, change, or remove any elements. You can add an element, remove an element, or change an element, right? So for example, in this example, name list is defined with 4 elements. Okay. Now you are printing the name list. Okay, 4 elements are printed. Now you are trying to find out what is the memory ID of the list. You got the memory ID. Okay, and then you are trying to append something to the list. List name dot append means it will append something at the end. And now if you try to print that, you are going to see that Rajni is added at the end. Now if you see the ID, memory ID is same. What does that mean? It means that same item. It means that same item, or I can say same list, is modified without creating a new list. We can so that is what. Now you can remove an element from the list. For example, there is a name list, and from which you are removing wiki. So wiki is an element, right? After removing, if you print the name list, wiki will be removed. You can see that wiki is removed, and it is removed from the same list. So if you see the memory IDs, it will be same. Now you can also modify an element in the list. For example, 0th element is actually RBR sir. Now I am modifying it as Ravi sir, right? So 0th element is modified from RBR sir to Ravi sir. Now if you try to print the list, you are going to see Ravi sir in the beginning. So you can modify. Now when you are accessing the elements, you can access by index. Okay. So for example, Name list is a list which is containing 4 names, 4 strings. Now if I print 0, 1, 2, 3, all these elements, all these strings will be printed individually. So see this, all the 4 elements are printed individually. Okay. Now duplicate values are allowed in the list, which means, for example, in this list Venki is already there in the name list. Okay. Now if I append Venki and if I see if it is added or not, if I print the list, yes, Venki is appended even though Venki is already there. Therefore, duplicate values are allowed in the list. So be careful when you are dealing with the list, duplicate values are allowed. Now, getting the length of the list. If you have to get the length of the list, you can use the function len. Okay, len. For example, here name list has 4 names. Now, if I use len of name list, length is going to be 4. Now, there can also be a list inside a list. So, see this. Let us say there is a name list with 4 elements. Now, if I am appending one more list, then it will become a nested list, which means a list within a list. And now if I try to print it, all the names are printed. Along with this, you can see that the list is also printed. This is nested list, a list within a list. Okay. Now, if you append a list, when a list is appended to another list, the entire thing is actually considered. You can add a list. I think this is the previous example, right? This is the previous example which we have seen. Yes, this is a previous example. Okay, but the example that is supposed to be here is when a list is appended to another list, the entire appended list is treated as a single element. Okay, this is this list only. Okay, so when there is already a list, name list, and if you append one more list ABC, and if you append one more list ABC, right? Now this entire list is taken as an element and that will be added into the list. Now there are certain ways, there are many ways of creating a list. So if you want to create an empty list, you can use this symbol. And if you want to create using a constructor, you can use list constructor. And you can also create a list using range function. And you can also use a star operator to repeat the number of elements. Okay, I will show you with examples one by one, then you will understand. Now, if you want to create empty list, L1 equal to empty list, 1 square brackets, print L1, empty list is printed. L2 equal to empty list, print L2, empty list is printed. So you can create an empty list and later you can append values to it. This will be helpful in some programs, creating an empty list and later, because you don't know what are the elements to be added now, but you need a list. Therefore, you can create an empty list and later you can add the elements. Okay. Now you can also use list constructor to construct a list. Okay. Especially when converting other iterables into a list. So for example, I will give you an example. So list is a keyword, or you can say it is a function which will take a iterable. Iterable means a collection of items. Now using this iterable, it will create a list. It can be string, it can be dictionary, it can be tuple, it can be anything. Okay. So here I am passing a list. Now this list has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now a new list is created in my list with these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that my list is containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you print my list, it is containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, a non-empty list is created by passing multiple elements as an argument within the list. Okay, so I will show you with example. Now, if you see this, list is a function. To that function, I am passing a string RAVI, which is a iterable, and each element, each character is taken as an element. Now, a list will be created with each element as a L4, a with each element in with each character in Ravi, a list will be created. For example, L3 is a normal list. 1, 2, 3, 4, Ravi, RBR. RBR is taken as an element, right? Now, if you print L1, L3, you are going to get 1, 2, 3 followed by RBR. 1, 2, 3 followed by RBR. But when you print L4, R is taken as a separate element, A is taken as a separate element, B is taken as a separate element, I is taken as a separate element, which means the string is stripped. It is separated and every character becomes an element in the list. Now, when you pass multiple arguments to list, it will not work. A list will only work if there is a single iterable object. It can be a list, or it can be a tuple, or it can be a dictionary. Okay. It will not work for multiple arguments. For example, if you see here, we are writing list, and we are passing 3 elements. We are expecting that it will create a list of these 3 elements. That is wrong. So you are going to get a syntax error. The syntax error is saying that list expected at most one argument. So to list, you have to send either 0 or 1 argument, but then you are sending 3. That is the error. Got 3 is the error. Okay. Now see this example. L3 is 1, 2, 3 followed by Venki, and L4 is 1, 2, 3, which is a list which is iterable. Therefore, each one of these elements will be used to create a new list called L4. Now, if you type L3 is going to be 1, 2, 3 Venki, and L4 is going to be 1, 2, 3 only. Okay. Okay. Now, if you pass none as an argument to list, it is going to give you an error. Why? Because none is not iterable. You have to give something which is iterable. You should not give anything that is not iterable. Okay. Fine. Now range function. Now, if I use list function, within it, if I use range, then it will create a list. For example, in this case, list range 1 to 10 is given. List range 1 to 10 is given. Then what will happen? Range will generate numbers from 1 to 9, and all those numbers will be in the list. Okay. So now we got a list of 0 to 9 using a range function inside the list function. So range function is inside the list function, and the range is going from 1 to 10. Therefore, 1 to 9 elements are created. Now you can create any range. For example, if I put range from 50 to 60, then it will create from 50 to 59. Now, by using star operator, you can multiply a value any number of times. For example, if I write like this, a list is equal to 0 star 100, it means that 0 will be repeated 100 times. Now, if you try to print that list, 0 will be printed 100 times. If you use len, you will see that the number is 100. Right. Now, if you see this, 0 is multiplied star with 100. It means that 0 is repeated 100 times, and length of the list will become 100. That is why you are seeing length of L is 100. Right. Now, you can do it for any value. For example, L equal to -1. List is having a single element -1. If I multiply with 100, then if I print it, then -1 is printed 100 times. And now if I print the length of L, that will be 100. If I print the length of L, that will be 100. Now, we can initialize list with none also. And the total number of nuns can be multiplied. For example, a list is initialized to none. See, you cannot pass none to list function, but you can create a list like this using none. And if you multiply it with 100, there will be 100 none elements. If you print that L, there will be 100 none elements. If you print the length of L, that will be 100. If you print the length of L, that will be 100. Now there are two ways to index a list, either from left side or from right side. If you are starting from left side, the indices will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 till the last number. Okay. Now if you are going to use negative indexing from the end, if you want to index from the right end, then you can start with -1, -2, -3, so on, -12. So if you are going from left to right, your indexes are going to start from 0. If you are going from right to left, your indices are going to start with -1. So positive indexing will start from 0 and will go to length of list -1. So if you have 4 elements, for example, like this, so this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. If you are going with negative indexing, okay, so if you are, even you can print and see. So if you have 4 elements, if you are giving list of 0, list of 1, list of 2, list of 3, 10, 20, 30, 40 are printed. Now, if you try to give a index which is not there in the list, for example, the indices that are in the list is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Now, if you try to access 5th element, there is going to be an error. So what is the error? The error is list index out of range. You are going out of range, okay? And negative indices also you can use. Last element is having negative index of -1, -2, -3, -4. You can use these indices to print the values. For example, if I try to print list of -1, list of -2, list of -3, list of -4, first this one will be printed, then this, then this, then this, right? 40, 30, 20, 10. 40, 30, 20, 10. Suppose you are trying to access a value below the range. For example, here we have -1, -2, -3, -4. You cannot go beyond this. Now, if you are using -6, if you are trying to access -6, that is going to show you list index out of bound error, list index out of range error. Now, what is the output of the following function? You have an empty list and a list with none. If you try to print the length of empty list, what will it be? If you try to print this length of this, what will it be? So you can see that if the list is empty, the value is none, the value is 0. And if the list has one element called none, the length of the list is 1. Okay, so guys, if it is not painful, if it is not trouble, if it is not a very big trouble, please like the video. Okay, if you really like the content, please leave a comment saying thank you. If you like it very, very much, then subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. Okay, thank you so much. If you want to take my GATE classes, we go to the website ravindrababuravula.in and you are going to see all my GATE classes available there. Okay, so coming to the classes, they are all recorded. Why am I doing recorded? Why am I not doing live classes? Is I have thousands of students registering for my courses every year, but then if I conduct a live class, only 20 or 30 people will be there. 20 or 30, that's it. Maximum is 40 I had. The reason is live classes are little bit wasting your time. See, you cannot watch a live class at 2x speed. You have to watch at the pace at which I teach. Generally, I will be very, very slow while teaching. So if you can go through the live classes, you can watch them at 2x speed and you can complete the syllabus very fast. 400 plus hours content is there for GATE. And if you are going to watch them at normal pace, it will take 400 hours. But if you watch it at 2x speed, it will take just 200 hours, right? So if you want any of my GATE classes, GATE Computer Science or GATE DA, the price is just 10,000 rupees. It is very, very reasonable for the kind of quality we provide. We have test series, we have doubt sessions, we have videos, we have lecture notes for everything. Even you don't have to write any lecture notes. I will provide you lecture notes for every subject. You just have to sit back, watch the videos at 2x speed and revise the notes. Short notes will be provided, long notes will be provided, formulas will be written in the separate notes. Everything will be there provided to you. You don't have to work hard. And coming to, if you are planning to go abroad, we also have study abroad program. You can go through my number. My number is on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is in the website. If you are planning to do masters abroad, that is a very good choice. It is better than doing masters in India. So if you are planning to go abroad, we will help you out right from taking the passport to getting the visa, US visa, right? So we will help you out in the entire process. Okay. So do visit the website, see what is happening there. Even DSA course is there for 5,000 rupees, which is both in Python and C++. Okay. So thank you so much.